Happy HBK Wellness Wednesday, everyone. Master trainer and wellness enthusiast, Kiona Leah, back with you guys again for another edition of our HBK Wellness Wednesday. So, this week we are doing an energy camp in class. And the reason is because over the long holiday weekend, I definitely needed a break, needed to downshift, take some time and decompress. But by the time I got to Monday, I had spent so much time sort of being lethargic and getting my sleep schedule all out of whack, which I tend to do on long weekends, unfortunately. I needed extra energy. So I thought it was a great one because we also tend to overindulge over Memorial Day weekend, and that can be a problem because then we have extra sugar or other things that we need to detox out of our systems. And the key to a good energy camp when you're using TTAP method is to move that lymph, move that lymph, move that lymph. But that is not what we are here to do tonight on our HBK Wellness Wednesday. Tonight we're going to talk about other things that can help give us some energy. Now, there's a ton of supplements. We're not going to talk a lot on supplements per se that give us energy. And especially, I'm not going into some of your more high output supplements like your ephedrines or your caffeine or anything of that nature. We're talking about things that are much more subtle and much more gentle. And I also want to talk to you guys about ones that are better for the hot weather, because it has definitely taken a big shift here in Maryland to that warmer weather. I had to be out in it today, kind of unexpectedly, for about 3.5 hours. So believe me, I've been looking at doing some of these tips. Now, of course, one of the very first things that we have to worry about when it comes to hot weather or heat in general, whether it's exercising in an overly heated room in the cold weather, using a sauna, or outside in the heat, or trying to exercise outside in the heat, we do have to be very, 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 very careful because the body does have kind of a small range of temperatures that it can be in and still be healthy. It has a much lower low range than it does high range. And I always used to say as a kid in New York, when skiing in the cold weather, you could put more layers on, but there's only so many you can take off in the summer without having all kinds of other problems and not being able to cool off. So that is a big key to making sure that we continue to have our energy in the summer. And this is, of course, where staying well hydrated becomes so vitally, vitally, vitally important. So you want to make sure that you have lots of good, fresh, clean, and honestly, I prefer ice cold water. Now, forever and a day, for all these years that I have been a trainer, one of the things that has been a debate is what temperature water to have. Some studies show that room temperature water is actually absorbed better by the body and more immediately available for hydration purposes. So a lot of people recommend room temperature water in order to actually cool and hydrate the body quickly. Other people, and believe it or not, when I first started as a trainer, used to talk about the fact that ice water was better because of the fact that your body has to burn a couple calories to raise the temperature of that water to get it into your system. Personally, on a really hot day when I'm really sweating, I want that freaking ice water. But of course, my favorite, about 3 weeks ago, and I'll put a link below, Dr. Andrew Huberman had an absolutely amazing lecture on how much exercise output and efficiency you can get by cooling the body. And one of the first things he talked about was one of the main regions for expelling heat and regulating our body temperature is, of course, our core. Our extremities are one of the other regions. One of the big things is when your core is cooler, you feel cooler and you have a better ability to output more energy, more effort, more reps, more sets, longer runs, and such like that. The statistics that he quotes are absolutely, absolutely stunning. I can tell you that. Highly recommend listen to the whole lecture. It is absolutely fascinating. And I'm only touching on a tiny minuscule piece. But that core piece of cooling your core and helping release the body and give you a little bit more energy really kind of makes sense, because as you drink that ice water, it does go in ice cold and it helps cool you off from the inside out just a bit. And I definitely notice a big difference. Now remember, if you are sweating a ton on a really profusely hot day, or you're outputting a lot of effort on a hot day, you don't want to wash the mineral balance out of your body by only drinking pure water. This is where things like Gatorade and sports drinks have become so freaking popular. And I'm not a huge fan of those for several reasons. Number one, sugar. We don't need that much sugar. Artificial sugars, high fructose corn syrup, we don't need that much of them. You don't need any of those things to give you the electrolytes you are looking for. That is one of my main problems with most of the Propel, Gatorade, and those type of drinks. I do not drink them. And if I do, I dilute the heck out of them because they're way too much sugar and way too strong for me. The other major thing I do not like is food coloring, believe it or not. But food coloring can really mess up your digestion, really mess up your whole system. And again, you're asking your body to do more work when it's trying to preserve its energy output because it's too hot. You're much better off with something all natural, with some of your supplements, with your mineral pills, coconut water, and believe it or not, one of my personal favorites, if I do need that extra sugar, is watermelon or watermelon juice. Absolutely one of my very favorite things. On a hot July and August day, I'll be out there doing yard work for 3 hours. Nothing tastes better than coming in and slicing up that watermelon from the refrigerator. Nice and cold, full of, yes, sugars, it's true, but also minerals and vitamins. And if you eat a bit of that rind, even some protein going into that system. So I much prefer that type of methodology. For energy vitamins, some of my favorites are your B vitamins. Those really help the body help itself release energy. And of course, your D vitamins, of which hopefully we might get a bit more of from being outside in the sun on those hot days. But the other amazing fact that Dr. Andrew shared in his talk about cooling the body and cooling it effectively, efficiently, was so simple. It's amazing. And I feel like any of us that grew up originally in a cold climate like I did, we kind of knew this without the science to prove it. And that is the three main places where your body is the most efficient at expelling heat are your face. Again, for us skiers, we were always, especially me, really good at keeping your face covered. The palms of your hands and the bottoms of your feet. How many people could not stand walking on the cold floors as a kid and you were so much warmer as soon as you put your socks and your slippers on? I'm still like that today, even though I live in a much warmer climate than I used to, and what a difference it makes. These three areas of your body, he goes into really detailed science about this, but just a couple key points that I took away from the lecture that I really personally enjoyed. Number one, these three areas, if you look at any of our primate cousins, are the only ones that do not have fur on them. And in reality, for us humans, this is also true. That we have, even if you're super pale, super fair, super fine like me, I still have microscopic hairs that cover all of this. But they do not cover the palms of my hand, the bottoms of my feet, and parts of your face. Of course, the men with beards are now looking at me. But that beard doesn't grow all the way up, does it? Nope. Parts of your cheeks, around your eyes, across your nose, and up your forehead, those all do not have hair on them. These three areas of the body have very interesting vascular system in them that contributes to this. Everywhere else in our vascular system, the blood goes from arteries to capillaries, where it exchanges what nutrition, oxygen, et cetera, it needs, back to veins and back to the center of the body. In these three places, there are AVAs, and I am absolutely under no circumstances going to try to spell or say what that stands for. You can actually just Google AVAs, and he's got a very nice detailed explanation, and he spells it for you guys out in his podcast. But these AVAs are more direct links bypassing the capillaries. They're little small veins and arteries, not capillary size, slightly larger, that direct connect the veins and arteries to each other. Now, what I so appreciated about this entire thing, and he doesn't go into the science, and I promise I won't bore you guys with my day job either, but as a waterhead, as we like to be known, I guess, hydraulics and hydrology person, the diameter of your pipe matters. The larger the pipe, the faster the fluid, whatever fluid it is, goes through it. The faster this fluid goes through, the more efficient it is at, yes, exchanging your heat when you're talking about your blood. These AVAs also actually have a connection with your nervous system to expand and contract their diameter, which is even more cool because, again, if you need to conserve that heat, they can constrict when you're out in the cold so your hands don't freeze. My hands still freeze anyway, my feet still freeze, my face still freezes, but they do this. And they will expand to expel more heat more quickly out of your body when you're starting to heat up or overheat. What I did after I saw this lecture was I brought down with me one of my water bottles that was not insulated. You guys know how much I love my insulated ones. Non-insulated, full of ice and some liquid. So as I did my workout for that hour on the water breaks, I could go wrap my hands around this ice cold water bottle and cool me off to be able to have a better, more effective, more efficient workout. If you can figure out how to do that on your feet, great. And if you're really hot, put it on your face or your forehead. How many times do we remember Mom putting that cold cloth on our forehead when we had a fever? It all has this amazing, amazing, amazing scientific benefit behind it. All of this will cool you off and give you so much more energy for whatever you want to do, whether it's your workout, whether it's studying, whether it's learning, whether it's being with your family or playing games or enjoying all of this newfound social freedom we finally have again. All of those things you can get benefit from by having just a little more energy. All right, you guys, still looking for topics and comments for Monday. Monday's class is coming up faster than we think. Can't believe it's already Wellness Wednesday. So comment below. Let me know what you want to talk about, what topics you're interested in. It always means so much. And thank you to everybody as you like and share and see my little pages and comment and such grow. In the meantime, I'm Kiona Leah. I want to see you move, live, and thrive. So I'll see you on the next one.